Majority of Black women are behind in the dating game, behind in the marital game. They're not getting married and they cannot secure, or they have not been securing men who provide. And the main reason why is honestly speaking, it's first societal programming, and second, the way that we raise our children, which is why I encourage every Black woman that's watching this video, even if you made mistakes and you already have children, be the person that breaks the pattern in the family, especially in regards to the selection of men. Let's be honest. Women who are of other cultures, as white women, Middle Eastern women, Asian women, they are taught to target and date and pursue men who are providers, someone or a man who has something to offer. Because in those cultures, when the father gives their daughter away to that man, they don't have the expectation in their mind that their daughter is going to have to struggle, work hard, work double shifts. They feel like, we're giving our precious flower away to you. Here she is. Make sure you take good care of her and make sure you're able to provide for her. But in the Black community, we're taught different. We're taught to date someone just because you like them. Oh, he's not working. It's okay, girl. Girl, hold him down. Hold him down. He doesn't have much going on. Hold him down. Just work it out. Stick it out. We're kind of taught that struggle narrative, that narrative of hard work and hard labor. And we're taught, but why would you be doing hard labor if you have a man present that you are in a relationship with? That's the difference. And there was a point in time I was working in a luxury firm. Luxury firm was predominantly a Caucasian luxury firm. And, we would have girl talk, like all the associates, it was really chill vibes. We would all sit down in the lunchroom and just talk about girl stuff. Everyone's dating someone new, catching up. And I noticed that the Caucasian women in there and the Middle Eastern women in there and even the Latin women in there, their first question when anyone in our group was dating a man, their first question was, okay, what does he do for a living? That was always the first question. It wasn't, do you like him? Do you love him? Does he treat you nicely? No, that was never the first question. And as I grew up and I matured, it totally dawned on me. And I'm like, no wonder they are so far economically with marriages and with relationships, because the first thing that they look at is financial security. Black women, on the other hand, that is not the first thing that they look at unless they're from African cultures. African women are totally different when it comes to American women as far as how they date. That man has to be, if they're going to check bank statements before the marriage is even legalized, they're going to check bank statements. That's how it is in Africa. So props to African women. They have that on lock as far as Black women. But it dawned on me and I'm like, this is the problem. This is it right here. Why are African American women not vetting men properly? Why aren't they choosing men who are educated? Why are they not looking for men who have something to offer? Why are they looking for men that they have to work with or slave with? Majority of the African American women that I know that are highly educated, hyper educated, they take care of their husbands. Their husbands are house husbands. And I've seen that trend. And when I was a kid, I knew it wasn't right. When I was younger, I knew it didn't make sense.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but stop wasting your good years waiting for a Black man. Before you start giving me the eye roll and the scroll, hear me out. Baby, all I'm saying is Black men have known for decades, honey. The vibe is definitely different on the other side. Now, there are a couple of cultural caveats that you got to navigate together, but it really ain't nothing but a couple of lessons, a couple of visuals. A handy video can't fix. You want to be treated like the Instagram I roll and the scroll. Hear me out. Baby, all I'm saying is Black men have known for decades, honey. The vibe is definitely different on the other side. Now, there are a couple of cultural caveats that you got to navigate together, but it really ain't nothing but a couple of lessons, a couple of visuals. A handy video can't fix. You want to be treated like the Instagram post and tell you it's okay to start over and let somebody love you? Maybe get you a snow-colored suitor. Sis, There is a plethora of person of color partners out there who are waiting and ready to treat you like the black queen that you are. Hunty, what are you waiting for? Quit wasting your days waiting for that brother to come in and swoop you off your feet. The water is great over here, hon.
Moxie J. So I'm going to speak about the newest thing out here now. They're speaking about how black women, melanated women, will never get married because they're asking the question, would you ever date a man who's not making any money, who does not have an income? And I tend to agree with women to say that no, I couldn't do that because in today's society, it takes two incomes. You can't just make it out here on your own. Can we not go back to those days where it was a two person family, kind of thing where you have a man and a woman? But society doesn't want that. They don't want. Think about all the Disney movies out there. Think about how they have it where the mother's either dead and gone, or the father's dead and gone, and Finding Nemo, the mom is gone, or Snow White, the mom is gone, and you have a evil step mother. It's never that you have, a mother and father, and they want that because they want you to be a damsel in distress, or they want you to be needy or something like that. Can we go back to a strong family base? Can we go back to a man being a man and a woman being a woman being in the house, taking care of her family? Or, a woman working a part-time job and then taking care of her family while the husband's working his blue-collar job, or, his white-collar job, or what have you. They say this is a man's world, although I don't really know about that, but men have it hard, women have it hard as well. So, while white women are swooping in and say, hey, we'll take your man because he don't have to have a job, I don't agree with my sisters who's like, okay, his money is my money, but my money is only my money. I don't agree with that. I mean, for me in my house, I work a full-time job. My man, he works a full-time job, but he works a strenuous job. He works hard. I have an office job. So, why not be his backbone? Why not go ahead and wash his clothes? Why not cook for him? Why not take care of him and soothe him? Because he has to go back out there the next day and he's going to work hard like he did today. Why are you working at a desk for the most part? So why not go ahead and be supportive of that? Because he's providing for you, right? So why can't you provide for him? Sitting at home eating bonbons ain't going to cut it. It's not going to pay those bills. It's not going to give you the things that you want out of life. He's not going to be able to go ahead and give you everything. You need to go out there. What do they say? Like with God? God helps those who help themselves.
I don't know. I feel like modern women don't really view marriage as a backup plan. I feel like modern women don't want to get married. Like, there's a lot of women saying that they don't want to get married. They want to be single. They want to be rich aunties, no kids.
Which they say what? The rich aunties?
Yeah, they want to be rich aunties and just travel the world and just... I don't know. I feel like it's so different now. Like within like the last 20 years, it's just like there's like a big shift. Like a lot of people don't want to get married anymore. They see it as like a bad investment.
I hear more from women.
Yeah. I think they really see it as a bad investment. Like they're like basically like just like giving away like their youth. I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm just saying that a lot of women do feel that way though. They do feel that way. Like they just want to travel. Like that's all I see on TikTok. Traveling the world, being rich, no kids. I'm like,
giving that up.
Right.
So whoever Tom, Dick, and Harry,
I talk a lot on my platforms about why I'm child-free and why I'm also anti-marriage. But I'm anti-marriage for myself. I'm not anti-marriage for my friends and family. I just don't see myself ever getting married. Another reason why I don't want to get married is because I am not about to go through the BS that you go through in divorce, right? Losing assets, having to divide assets. It is my own personal opinion that most marriages are going to end in divorce anyways. Most of them already have, if you really look around. I know plenty of people who are divorced. I know plenty of people who failed at marriage multiple times, so they've been married multiple times. So at the end of the day, that's just not a risk I'm going to take, right? And for the same reasons why I don't want to have kids, right? The number one way I can guarantee that I'll never be a single mother or a baby mama or whatever is to not have kids, right? You have to protect yourself from things. You can't control the law, right? I've seen a lot of people lose things, men and women, lose things in marriages and divorces that was very unfair. Especially if you've acquired things before you got married, and then the financial situation changed between you or your husband or whatever, and then now all of a sudden you're taking this and you're taking that even though it was mine. People will say prenups. I see prenups get thrown out all the time, overturned.
Something to think about too. Those of you who are contemplating getting a house with a man, I would never fucking get a house with a man and like own one. Have I rented houses with someone before? A couple people, both of my fiancés, yes, I have. But we rented, so it wasn't that big of a deal, right? But buying a house, absolutely not. And I plan on putting my blood, sweat, and tears into this bitch. Like, I'm literally going to have this house custom. It's going to be the exact square footage, the exact amount of acres, all of that. The perfect amount of rooms. I need at least 5 bedrooms. Yes, that sounds excessive to some people. But that's too bad. I still want 5 bedrooms. I have my bedroom. I have my dressing room. I'm going to have an office. I'm going to have a workout / dance studio, and I'm going to have a guest bedroom, period. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to go through all of that and then risk losing it. It's just not going to happen. So there's that. I just wanted to share that little tidbit and give you guys something to think about. Is it worth losing everything that you worked hard for? Is it worth risking losing your credit or ruining your credit? Things like that, right? It's not worth it. You're going to get divorced 9 times out of 10 anyways. It's like, why put yourselves through that? That's just my own personal opinion. I know people are going to disagree, but that is how I feel.
Black American women's approach to relationships have been shaped, by history, slavery, how our parents raised us. In slavery, our families had been broken apart. Men were denied the chance to consistently take care of a family, provide for our households, even after slavery. Systematic racism like Jim Crow and job discrimination and mass incarceration and all those things kept black men from black women and having stable employment. So because black men never had kind of stable employment, we black women often had to rely on ourselves. And thus, we never relied on really being married, okay? We always had to step up and provide for ourselves and our children. It just is what it is. And over time, this created a cultural expectation that black women could take care of themselves and that we had independence. If you talk to the men, they're going to say, it's the feminist movement. And the things I just listed, systematic racism, slavery, Jim Crow laws, discrimination, all of these things played a part in why women had to step up and be the providers in the homes. And thus we were called independent. Now we're being called masculine. Now we're being called the power girl, where you're not raised to be a wife. No, we weren't raised to be wives. We were raised to take care of the house because the men were not there, okay, in one way or the other. So for generations, the black households have faced a wealth gap compared to many white families because our men were not in the home. And on top of them leaving us, on top of doing all of these other things that happen in relationships, this is why we are where we are, okay? It meant that black women couldn't always afford to wait for a man to provide for us. We just couldn't. Survival demanded that we had to get a job. We had to work, we had to hustle, we had to make ends meet ourselves. We couldn't depend on our black men. Now we're always called the feminist movement. Really had nothing to do with the feminist movement, not per se, or maybe a small portion did, I guess. But us black women are most likely the group of women in America who work outside the home. Not because we didn't want a provider, that's not the case, but because economics left us with little choice but to do so. This created a different mindset with our women. Our women said we had to be providers. We could not wait for a provider. We had to become self-reliant. All these other groups never had the barriers to working, barriers to their men that we had with ours. And this is what has kept us from building generational wealth, keeping up with the marriage and marriages and families and households and things like that. I mean, in many cultures, right, women are told that their role is to be at home and to take care of the kids while the man went out and earned money. But in our community, that setup wasn't always realistic. We weren't raised to do that. We were raised to be able to take care of ourselves, us women, because we could not, it had nothing to do with feminist movement, not in a big way, okay? A lot of us black women worked side by side with the men in the fields, doing domestic work or other kinds of labor jobs, okay? Instead of being trained to look for a provider like our white counterparts, we were raised to stand on our own 2 feet. Many reasons why this has occurred. Many reasons. That doesn't mean we didn't value a supportive partner or that we didn't want a husband. We just got used to you not being there because of those things that I mentioned prior. It just means our survival skills were emphasized more than our dependency.
I'm starting to make a connection between why I have never really wanted to get married or have kids and my dad. Maybe this was like a late realization. Maybe you would be like, oh my God, Asha, like obviously. But no, I truly think like there is definitely a connection. Let's talk about it. So like growing up, I've never, ever, ever, ever had that bridal or like maternal instinct, like ever. And all the girls around me did. Like all my cousins were girls and like they've always wanted to like get married and have kids, and they have beautiful kids and have amazing husbands. So like they want me. I've just never thought like, oh my God, I want to like get my wedding dress, or I can't wait to get married at this place, or I want this ring, or any like, no, none of that excites me. So because of that, like I always thought there was like not something wrong, but I just always was like, is there something wrong? Like, is there a reason why I don't feel this way? And as I was getting older, like that feeling started coming up more and more, because I only really, in my entire life, and like all the guys I've dated, I've only ever seen myself like with like possibly marrying 2 people. And that was with, my long-term boyfriend that I had when I was 19, boyfriends when you're 19, and my last relationship. And the reason why I like felt like I could see that with them is because I love them both so much, and they, had kind of given me that word and that promise that they would be equal. Like we would be providers and we would both be equal in the sense of like our marriage or relationship if we have kids, stuff like that. Obviously didn't work out with either of them, so whatever. But like even though I like felt that way, like possibly seeing that, I was still really hesitant, and I didn't know why, because it's like I love this person so much, I could see my life with them. Why is it that why is it that I'm just thinking that it's like just a piece of paper, so why do we need it? And I think it's because like when I was growing up, seeing how like marriages around me operated, mostly like my parents, I just saw my mom still doing everything. My mom would still make our lunches. She would, be the person to call like for our school. She would be planning the birthday parties. She would do all of that. She'd come on like the field trips with us. Like that was her. Not to say that my dad wasn't busy. He just wouldn't want to do it. Like it was always kind of a bother to him, like, oh, well, I'm not going to bother dad. Like, I'll just have mom. Like, like, what the fuck? And now I kind of see it as like, why would you not want to like make your wife's life a little bit easier? Spend time with your kids, be like that emergency contact, no matter what, because like you're also the parent. Just never really made sense to me. And I think that bled into like my thoughts of like being a mom and being a wife, because I don't want to do all that shit by myself. I just grew up with like a lot of examples, not even just of my parents, but just like people around me, of the husband kind of chilling, the dad kind of chilling, and the mom does everything. And then that turns into kind of like the husband or the dad not really having any interest in like the family or the kid's life or really anything like that. I don't know. That's just how it felt. And I don't want to go through, you know, those kind of like big milestones alone. And like, you can feel alone when you're with someone. So it's like, if I'm going to like get married and be a mom and all these things, I want to make sure I have a partner that's like equal in wanting to do those things with me. I'm not going to get into a relationship with someone for the fuck of it just so I can have kids and be like have a baby. Like, that is so wrong to me. Maybe I'll change. I'm 28. I'm not even the same person I feel like I was last year, although this belief has like stuck for a really long time.
Nowadays, I'm starting to see marriage as a choice between freedom and captivity. When you're a single woman, you are free, but when you are married, you are pretty much a captive slave. Yeah.
Why don't I want to get married? Let's talk about it. I do believe marriage is a business contract for me. I don't believe in signing a business contract that also doesn't benefit me. As a woman, I do not see how marriage benefits me. Now, I am a lesbian, but specifically if this were for straight women, I honestly don't understand how straight women benefit from marriage to a man, especially if the expectation of your marriage is to be the maternal caregiver, to cook, to clean, to raise the kids. I don't understand why that's beneficial to you just to have a title because at the end of that marriage you don't have a experience for your resume to put on, because unfortunately motherhood is not a job experience for the real world, although it is the toughest job in the world. Most of the time you don't have money because you didn't work during that time, and all of the promises that person make, most of the time that husband, they don't live up to it. So if you are going to get married, I think look at different states, divorce rules or policies, whatever you call it, before you get married. Like, I feel like that's an important decision, but no, everyone wants to get married in a really nice place, and they don't look at the possibilities of what will happen if they do get divorced. Now, for me, instead of a business contract, I'd much rather a partnership. I don't really desire to live with anyone. I don't desire to see a person every single day, all day. So therefore, a partnership where they have their own thing and I have my own thing, and we come together when we want to be together, is the most ideal. I am one of those people, unfortunately, who sound like a man when I say, if we can do everything the same, why do we need a piece of paper? Most people don't want to be in partnership with someone. Most people want the ring, the wedding, and the title. I am absolutely okay not being called wife. I'm absolutely okay not having a diamond ring on this finger because I can have one on this finger, this finger, this finger. You know what I mean? I'm a person who wants to design my life the way I want to design it. So marriage is not in my design plans. Partnership, depending on the person, definitely is. But again, there would be a design to that as well. So if you have also made the decision you don't want to be married, whether it's because you already were married or because you just never ever wanted to get married, let me know.
Well, today our modern women are told by family, media, and even schools to focus on education, careers, and independence first. A lot of them have been told this. The message is often don't rely on a man because he might leave or fail you. This is the message that we as Black women have gotten all throughout our life. This mindset comes from both personal experiences and long history of instability with our men and relationships, which caused systematic challenges. Instead of being trained to look for a provider, we often were trained to look for a job and provide for ourselves. Society also played a role in shaping our expectations, I guess. Black women are sometimes stereotyped as strong, resilient, masculine, which sounds positive to a certain extent, but it can be a burden to us. It suggests that we don't need help, or we don't want help, or we don't need protection. This stereotype reinforces the idea that Black women shouldn't expect someone else to provide for them. And even our men talk to us like, why do you need somebody to help you? Why do you need a provider? When the white men just accept their role as a provider. This is our problem this is the problem in our community. In other cultures, the women are encouraged to openly look for a provider without being judged. Let a Black woman say, I need a provider. And it's like, oh no, she ain't gonna use me for my money. This is why the game is messed up now. Okay? You as men have also been trained not to be there for the women. You have also been trained as a man. A man is also, a black man has also been trained not to be there for a woman, not to protect a woman. You have also been trained that because of systematic racism, lower expectations, slavery, mass incarceration, not being able to get a job, unemployed, underemployed. For us black women, the expectation to be strong sometimes makes it harder for us to express our desire to have a provider. We all expect a provider. We see what the white women get. We see all of that. We as black women want that same thing, but we weren't raised to look for a man to take care of us. We were raised to take care of ourselves. And that's hard to get past, but we're trying to get past it. The generation is trying to find out, how we can get past such a thing, okay? Even though the past has shaped our mindset like that, things are trying to change. Things are changing. Some of us are getting out here and getting the message out. More women, more black women are questioning whether being independent to the core is always the best route. But we still have a lot of women that say they don't want to get married. I ain't getting married. I don't see the need in doing it. No, you don't see the need in doing it because of systematic things, our culture, not being raised to do X, Y, and Z. If we were raised in the same kind of culture as the white culture, the way they were, we would expect a provider to be something that came along. A lot of women, though, a lot of black women, all women still want providers. We want providers, but we also seek some kind of balance. Someone who can support us financially, emotionally, and spiritually while still respecting our independence and our willingness to be a partner. The truth is, it's not that black women can't or don't want providers. It's not that. It's that history and society has pushed them into survival mode, pushed us into survival mode. And we have always been in survivor mode. Now the conversation is about writing those rules, rewriting those rules so that we can choose independence when we want to, but also feel the need to have a provider without shame. We can ask for someone to be a provider without them turning their head and looking at us nuts like, why are you asking me to take care of you?